Hello, everyone. It's Lindsey, and I am back with another project using the December Faith Art Box God's Plans. And as you know, most of the other team has worked through the devotional content. I thought it'd be fun to wrap it up with another fun project. I've been trying to sprinkle these in with you for you guys, just to show you some different ways to use your Bible journaling products. So, since the devotional content is focused on planning our plans versus God's plans, I thought, what better project than something for my planner? So I was working on setting up my planner. You know, many of us, we're in that weird week between Christmas and New Year's Day where it's just kind of limbo, where it's kind of in between the sugar rush, the taking down the trees, the starting a new year. And so a lot of us are starting to plan, make goals, do those things during this week. And so I pulled out my planner. I will link this one down below if you're curious about this one. And it is well into the planner for January. It's like an 18 or 20 month planner. And so January is pretty far in, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and commit to using it. And one nice thing about this one is that it is coil bound. So I wanted to create kind of like a dashboard or a bookmark that I could pop into that coil binding to mark my day or my week that I'm in my planner. So this should work. You would just need to adapt it for whatever type of planner that you're using, whether that's a disc bound planner or just a regular planner. You can adapt this same project for whatever type binding that you have for your planner. But I will show you how to make one that will pop into this coil binding for these planners from Dayspring. So what I have here are the printables from Creative Retreat. I've already gone ahead and cut out 3 of these fun kind of pattern swatches. And I thought about cutting these down to like bookmark shape. So it's definitely an option that you can do, is narrow them down to like a bookmark size. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them the full like 4-inch width. And I have a print for the back of my dashboard, a print for the front of my dashboard. And then I'm going to create like a little pocket to tuck things in. I've also gone ahead and pulled out a bow for my stash. I get a lot of questions about how to use the little flare pins that come in the kits now. And so this is a great option for using those. And I'll show you how I do that. I've also pulled out some washi tape. This is from last year's Christmas kit from Creative Retreat Kits. If it's still in the shop, I'll be sure to link it down below. But I liked that this kind of pinky color went with the pinks that I'll be pulling in this project. And then I have a few other items from the kit. And so my idea is to have this dashboard piece to constantly remind myself just some truths about God. And every time I look at it, to remind myself, trusting God. It's God's plans, not my plans. And so as I open up to that day or that week or that month in my planner, I'll be able to have that reminder and have a little pocket that I can tuck maybe scriptures in, or prayer requests, or, you know, maybe things that I'm reading, notes I'm taking, things like that. So let me go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and we'll put together this quick little project. Okay, so I'm going to start by gluing the front and the back pages or pieces together. I did print these on some cardstock, so I will link the one that I use down below. So I am using, heavier than just regular copy paper. And I'm just using some liquid adhesive. I found this the best way to adhere things together, and it seems to be working really well. So I'm just trimming off where I had a little bit of overlap on the bottom. Just make sure everything is all nice and clean. And then I have this piece here that I'm going to cut down to 4 inches wide to fit on the front of the dashboard, which is 4 inches wide. And then I want to cut an angle at the top. That way it's just a little bit easier of a pocket to get in and out of. So I'm just eyeballing it on my trimmer. I'm not measuring anything. I'm not making it fancy. I'm just doing a little bit of an angle here and then cutting that. And then I will add adhesive to 3 sides of this piece. So the 2 sides and the bottom, and this is what will create the pocket. Now, just keep in mind, this isn't being laminated or it's not being created on plastic or anything like that. So I imagine that I will probably be creating one of these each month with each kit and changing them out. So this isn't something that I'll be using for, the next year, but I don't know, you might want to play around with it. Maybe you could do something with a laminator. If you are handy with a laminator, that might be helpful. I'm not, so I'm just making this with keeping in mind that it will not last a full year. But to increase, the durability, I am going to add a little bit of washi tape to this one side. This will be the side that we punch the holes on. So just by adding the washi tape adds a little bit more color and interest, and it has some foil detail. But this is also going to reinforce that edge of this dashboard. So I just folded it over so that it's on the front and the back, cut off the excess, and then now I'm going in and rounding my corners just for, aesthetics sake, what I like to look at. You don't have to do that part. And now comes the punching. So I pulled out this We Are Memory Keepers planner punch. It does have this additional set of punches for spiral bound. So you just need to play around. If you're not using the Dayspring planner, you just need to maybe punch on some scrap piece of paper to figure out which spiral works for your planner. And then it's really simple. You just line this up, punch it, and then there's like a little graphic that's printed on there, and you just line up your last punched hole over the top of that graphic, and then just continue punching until you've punched all along the edge of your project. Again, if you're using like a disc bound planner, you can use a disc punch and discs. If you're just doing like a bookmark, you don't need to punch it. So, just adapt it to whatever you're wanting to use this in. But this works for the spiral bound. This also works for the Illustrating Bible. This is the same spiral. That gold punch works in the Illustrating Bible. So if you wanted to create a little dashboard for your Bible, this would work as well. So now we're going to add a little bit of embellishment to the front of this. I pulled out the stamp set. I went ahead and loaded the stamps in the project into my stamp positioning tool just because I decided to use the Creative Retreat Planetarium ink. And sometimes I need to stamp this twice to get it as deep and dark blue as the blue that's in the kit. So I'm going to just flip that door over and stamp Lord, You Are. I'm going to ink it up and stamp it again. And that's the nice thing about working in a stamp positioning tool is it allows you to double stamp really easily there. Now I'm going to add some stickers from the kit. So we're going to finish it out so that it says, Lord, You Are merciful, gracious, and just, using those stickers. And so this is a fun way, maybe at the end of, working through the devotional, you've got some leftover pieces. You can create a dashboard, or maybe you want to create your dashboard right at the beginning of the month. And then, have that as your reminder. Maybe you want to stick the answers to the questions in that pocket as you work through it. Maybe you want to use this as a bookmark in your Bible as you work through the kit. So it's just a fun way to use your kit outside of just typical Bible journaling, which is something I always like to kind of inspire you guys with. To pull out a blue marker to add some commas in there, just so that the blue, everything kind of matches. And I don't know, it would bug me if I didn't have the commas there. So I needed to add those in. And at this point, I realized, I only have that little bit of blue stamping. There's not really a whole lot of other dark blue going on. So I pulled out the little star cluster stamp from this month's stamp set, and I'm going to stamp those in that same planetarium ink and just start kind of embellishing up the front. And you could use this, maybe for like adding your receipts in there throughout the month, or, whatever. This can be a functional piece. And I really want to encourage you to take the ideas that I give you and adapt them for how you will use them. Not everybody's using a planner. Not everybody, is using something with a spiral bound. So take these as just an idea to jump off and create something of your own. So now I'm just going in with the enamel stickers that came with the kit this month and adding some additional embellishment. Creating some little clusters. I started to cover up some of the stamping so that there was some enamel down in that right-hand corner, but then it covered up too much of the stamping. So I grabbed the stamp set and decided to go in and add a few more stamped stars. You could get all kinds of crazy and go heat embossing. You could do gold foiling, really just go wild with this. And it would just be a fun reminder to look at each time you open your book or open your planner or whatever it is that you are using this in. So here's how I'm going to use this flare button. I'm going to go ahead and just thread it through the center of this bow clip. This is just simply some fabric tied into a bow on a paper clip and then attached to the top there. And that's the part that's going to stick out of my planner. Now you could skip the bow and just move the dashboard up so the top of the dashboard sticks up out of your planner. But I'm all for girly fun bows and a way to use those little flare pins. And this is the way that you can do that. And here you can see the 3x4 journaling cards that come in the printables fit perfectly into that pocket in that dashboard. So another way that you can use the printables. So I hope that gave you some ideas. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below. Check out the description box for links to everything that I used today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.